the cloud. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here today. So I have a quick question for you. By a show of hands, welcome Stacy and Norm. By a show of hands for you that are on video, or even if you're not, if you know how to do your electronic hands, there's Stacy's smiley face. Please do me a favor. If you are in sales, please raise your hand. Awesome. Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So a lot of times I get people that don't raise their hand, and my opinion is we're all in sales. Whether it's, what are we having for dinner? And I'm talking to my husband and I'm wanting to sell him on what I want to have for dinner, or whether I'm applying for a job when I was younger as a kid and applying for a job. So everything wraps around how do people buy into us, or how do we sell? We sell, right? So we talk about sales in all different ways, but sales is really building a relationship, yes? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen before we get started, because I want to show you how we know who different people are. If you look at my name, you see NAKB. You look at Joe Kavanaugh, you see ANKB. We want to know what your code is. So we're going to ask you to read the information on the next page I'm going to share with you. We are going to ask you to read the information on this page as soon as it wants to load up for me. It's a coming. So we're going to ask you to read the information on this page. You will see it in a moment. It is loading. I can see that it takes, and then the screen finally goes green. Yay. So read the information on these cards and pick what's most like you to least like you. And that's going to help us better serve you. And it's going to save us time. This is what I do before all of my Zoom calls. And if I have personal meetings, I use these cards. By personal meetings, just like when you go in to somebody's house, take the cards and ask them. So mine is N, which is the yellow nurturing, A, which is the action card, K, which is the knowledge card, and B, which is the blueprint card. Okay, so it's the first letter of each one. So I'd like you to take a moment and read the information and put your code in your name. If you're unable to change your name and don't know how to do the rename, that's fine. Put it in the chat and we will rename you. And the purpose of doing this is so when you hear different people speak, you'll be able to listen to their code. And that just helps you get better. Just helps you get better. So I'm going to leave this open for a minute. So when we talk about, how many of you have been on a sales training before by a show of hands? So I've taken many, many, many years of sales training. I've been in sales for a very long time. I don't want to tell you because I'm going to turn 60 this year. So I've been in sales all of my life. And I've been in real estate sales for about 30 years. And so hasn't Joe Kavanaugh, which you're going to hear from today because he's got some great stories. And being in sales and taking sales trainings, I'm going to tell you about 15 years ago, I took a sales training. And I remember coming home and saying to my husband, I will never, ever, 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 never, ever, ever do any of the thing that I just spent the whole day learning because it made me feel icky and I just wanted to shower. Sales is about knowing what's important to the other people. It's about building relationships. It's about making that a connection. Sales isn't about being manipulative and creepy and anything like that. And that's why when I saw this system, I went, oh my gosh, I love it. Because we find out in less than 90 seconds what's important to the other person. And then we can speak to that. I show up NA everywhere I go till I learn B.A.N.K. And I lost sales because of it. Because some people don't like to be hugged and loved on. And I did that. and it cost me $70,000 on a high price listing in Massachusetts. Ow. I don't want that to ever happen to any of you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stop share. If you got it in your name, great. If you didn't, no problem. Get back to the person that sent you here, and they're going to do it for you, and they're going to get you this beautiful in-depth report that talks all about you. And we're going to talk about the Holy Grail sales in a moment. But right now, I'm going to stop share on this, and I'm going to switch. Fantastic. Now I am going to go to a PowerPoint, and then we stop share and we go back and forth. So what I'd like to know from some of you is, I'd like you to take a moment as my screen decides to load or not. We never know with these things. I'd like to know, or have you ever gotten a no before? Have you ever gotten a no? By a show of hands. All right, so you're driving. You need to stop raising your hand. I appreciate the effort, but you're scaring me. I drive with no hands sometimes, but yeah. You're awesome though. Multitasking. You are quite the man. So when I see if I can get this to share, it's doing so far so good. I'm almost there. One more screen. So what I'd like you to do is, not you if you're driving, but everybody else, I'd like you to write down the last time you got a no. I'd love you to write down the last time you got a no. As soon as I can get this into slide PowerPoint mode, will be so exciting for me. So the last time you got a no. And I'd like you to just write down that person's name, whether it was personal, whether it was business, no matter. It doesn't matter. I just want you to write that down. So why they buy? Bank. And I'm just moving right along. Now my slides are moving. The earlier presentation, they didn't move at all. So bank, what's bank? Bank is an acronym for Blueprint, Action, Nurturing, and Knowledge. Bank is the only methodology in the world scientifically validated to predict your buyers buying or buy into you behavior in less than 90 seconds. We're going to go over a little bit of information tonight. We're going to live demo a software that can make or break your business when you implement it. We're going to unlock the secrets, the science, and the system to supercharge your sales up to 300%. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Jeanne Zierhoffer, and I'm an NLP Grandmaster. I'm a certified bank iOS coach. I'm also an NLP coach and a real estate business coach. I like to coach. I like to help people. That's who I am. I'm an award-winning international speaker and a six-figure income earner in residential real estate. When I say six-figure income earner, I mean that's in my pocket. I don't mean six figures for the company. And I'm also the nurturing icon with our company, Codebreaker Tech. I am really this year or next year in January, I get to pass the baton to somebody else. I am a conscious contributor, as is our whole community, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. The person that invited you here is part of our community, part of our network, and we work together to help serve you and your business. I'm a master trainer at Codebreaker Tech, meaning I help train the trainers and help coach the coaches. And I'm an industry expert. So let's talk about unlocking the secret ultra high performance. You know, there's some people that are born just as salesmen. I swear they are. However, they can't duplicate, and bank can duplicate and unlock the secret to ultra high performance and how you can learn this skill. Let's talk about your team leaders. The person that invited you here is either a certified bank trainer, coaches, and influencers. We are leaders of leaders in our community. We are conscious contributors, like I said, all of us, to help you building your business. And we are industry experts. We have people from all different industries, not just real estate. We have mortgage people, we have accounting people, we have network marketing people. We have people from every different industry. And obviously we have a couple of real estate experts here because that's going to best serve you. And that's why we work together. I am also the implementation queen, and I love to teach people how to implement B.A.N.K into their business. Has anybody ever heard of Robert Kiyosaki by a show of hands? And Michelle, for some reason, I can't see anybody. So if you could just help me out if we have any questions in the chat as we move forward, please. Thank you. The ability to sell is the number one skill in business. Not number two, not number three, number one. And I love Robert Kiyosaki. I've taken some of his training in real estate and real estate investing. And I love that statement. And I thought, well, gosh, it's really the number one skill in life. When you can teach your children or the people you work with how to sell themselves to, on a job application or on a listing appointment, what separates you from your competition? What is it that you do different from them? Well, that's what we're going to show you. That's what we're going to explain to you is how a simple system, state-of-the-art technology, a wonderful supportive community can help you close more sales, land more listings in less time. Good? Go in there, Michelle. Do we have smiles?
Couple of smiles here, Jeannie.
Well, that is awesome. So according to Salesforce.com, we all agreed we're in sales, yes? In some form or another. 67% of sales professionals completely miss their quota. How many of you have goals? By a show of hands. Thank you. 67% miss quota. 87% don't quite feel adequately prepared. And with the sales professionals I speak to, because I not only train real estate, I train other sales. They're like, I know my information, Jeannie. Like, I really understand it. I have all the knowledge, but when I get there, I just don't feel like I'm connecting the dots. And I'm like, awesome. I can show you how to connect those dots because that's what B.A.N.K is all about. And no wonder if 67% are missing their quota, 87% don't feel adequately prepared. 66% of your customers, the people you're going in front of, are completely turned off by your presentation. I saw that and I was like, oh, some of these slides kind of got me. It kind of hurt a little bit. And data's data, right? So personality science. Personality science is nothing new. It's been around since 400 BC when Hippocrates, I'll get that out, it's late for me, used it to practice medicine with his patients. So we use it as the blueprint, action, nurturing, and knowledge to reverse engineer, and we call it biology. And for some reason that popped up. Biology, B-U-Y, buying behavior, why somebody buys into you or buys your product or service. And understanding that is by knowing who they are. It's not about you. When you know who they are, you speak to what's important to them. So if I'm an action personality type, so the actions, if you're an action on here, please work with me here. All codes are good. And we are a combination of all four codes. We're a combination of all four codes. So if I'm the action personality type, because that's red on here, this is 25%, and I'm going and I'm talking to that action and me, Michelle and I'm selling Michelle. And I'm like, oh my God, Michelle, they're going to roll out the red carpet for us. It's going to be so exciting. This is exclusive. We got VIPs and I go down this whole thing. I just did this to Michelle. Okay. Honest to God. I just did this to Michelle because we are looking at getting VIP passes in Las Vegas in October for the NASCAR weekend. So we're super excited about it. But I used all the action terminology to say, are you in or are you in? And she's like, I'm in. She's got a blueprint boyfriend though, so she's got to lay out the plan. And you'll understand more about that when you go through our 2-day training and you get to hear from a blueprint. So what happens is I'm doing this action and I'm talking about all these things. That's not important to the blueprint, the nurturing, and the knowledge. So I've just completely lost those 3 codes because I'm delivering the wrong script to them. It's a great script for Michelle and she's excited and she's ready to go. She's like, I'm packing my bags the night before. Now, the blueprint, nurturing, and knowledge completely turned off. That is the wrong script. You should have, in my opinion, 5 scripts or 5 dialogues. I'm not a scripter. I bullet point. I bullet point everything. And I have these little plastic cards that sit in front of me. So when I hear your code, I'm able to speak back to that. And what is happening is I'm just hand delivering the other 3 codes, 75%, to my competition. Because I'm only closing the action because I'm showing up like a crazy person. Love you actions. Because that's what it looks like to the other personality types. Not good, not bad, just is. They're like, whoa, take that person down a notch. So what you want to do is the blueprint absolutely would turn off the actions. So it goes back and forth. So know who that person is and speak to what's important to them. That's why I love this system, because it has integrity. So we throw some big numbers out there, increase your sales up to 300%. And what does that look like? So I'm the blueprint personality and I'm very stable and very structured. And I want to make sure all my dots line up. But I'm going to go meet with an action. So a blueprint speaking to a blueprint, they got each other. They understand it and they can close each other because it happens by osmosis. Their values are aligned. So a blueprint personality wants to close that action. They've got to raise their vibration a little bit, raise their voice a little bit. They still their authentic self, but so the action can hear them, they need to shift. They need to shift their language from stability and rules and credentials to, oh my gosh, freedom and flexibility. I want to win. I want to have fun, because that's what's important to them. Sell them the sizzle. The nurturing personality type, they want to have that relationship, that eye contact, that community. So when the blueprint learns to speak to the action, they have the ability to increase their sales 100%. When they learn how to build that relationship and rapport and share their community with the nurturing, they now can increase their sales up to 200%. And when that blueprint gathers all that data and finds the experts to help talk to that knowledge personality type, that will help the blueprint increase their sales up to 300%. And that's when we get where we get that number. It's not a guarantee you're going to close 300% because you're not. I haven't met a person yet that close every single sale that comes in their door. But you have the ability now to learn to speak to all 4 values set based on why they make buying decisions. Good? I was so excited. I was so excited because it works. So crack the personality code and take it to the bank. That is a cryptex. And just like the movie The Da Vinci Code, just like an ATM, you go to the ATM machine, you slide in the card, you put in a PIN number, and out comes cash. Well, if you put in the wrong PIN number, and you get nothing, no cash comes out. So what do you do to get that cash out is you have to know the PIN number of the person or persons sitting in front of you. So you want to be able to speak blueprint, action, nurturing, and knowledge. And when you speak one to many, you need to speak in all 4 codes. That's the reason for the 5th script or bullet point that can speak in that other code. Once you know this and you can unlock that, you can speak to what's important to them. So I call this the holy grail of sales because I have people crack their code, because that's what we call it, and they get a report. And that report talks all about them. And every person I talk to absolutely loves that report. But here's the holy grail of sales. Are you listening? Because this is the secret. I get a report that's different than theirs. And it says, hey, Joe, before you ever pick up the phone and speak to Jeannie, you need to talk to her in this way, and you need to stay away from this. And it's a very lengthy report that says, before Joe ever meets with me or picks up the phone, this is exactly the way he needs to speak to me. And I call that the holy grail of sales. But wait, there's more. There's so much more to our state-of-the-art technology and our step-by-step system that can be implemented so easily and streamlined into real estate. That's how Joe got so many, and so many other of our real estate agents got their increased sales. So now, Joe, are you going to share your slide deck, or you want me to share mine?
I'm happy with you doing it, Jeannie. You're on a roll.
All righty. I just can't see anybody, but that's okay.
That's fine. So good evening, everybody, or good morning, good afternoon, whatever part of the world you might be in. And who is Joe Kavanaugh, and why do I have the right to tell you some of this information? Well, I am a certified bank trainer and an iOS coach, as Jeannie is. I have over 34 years of residential real estate experience as an appraiser, certified appraiser, as a realtor, and as a broker. And I have been a consistent member of our company. MORE is our real estate. It's an acronym for our real estate company. And I've been a member of their mastermind group, which is the top agents in the company. And in 2021, with this company, my wife, Cindy, and I won the Power Team Award. So we're very proud of that. And as a high action, which is my first code, we love to win awards and we love to win contests. And I like to play music, so I consider myself a bit of a rock star musician, and I'm an avid athlete. So I'm also a husband, a father, a grandfather of 6 children. I'm a real estate coach. I coach and mentor agents, and I am a team leader at the company that I do my real estate with. Most of my peers consider me a real estate market expert because of all the experience and expertise I have. As Jeannie is an NLP master practitioner, I am not in my master yet, but I'm working on it. I am an NLP coach, and I'm a lifelong learner. Even at this stage, I figure if you're not learning, then you're dying. So I'd like to do is just show you real briefly how I would treat each code as I go to work with them in real estate. I'm going to give you actual hands-on experience. So we can go to the next slide, Jeannie. So the first one we talked about was the blueprint. Now, blueprints, they're not the high and mighty real zippity doodah like we got here. Way to move right along, Jeannie. I guess I gotta talk fast. So blueprints, now when I go to an appointment with a blueprint, I have to know who they are and how to treat them. So with those type people, I want to take my time. I want to walk them through every detail. I don't want to rush them. I want to give them a step-by-step process. And I want to make sure that I keep them informed every step of the way. That's really important to them. Now we can go to the next slide, Jeannie. And there we go. We got the action people. That's my kind of people right there. Now, the action people, you got to change your tonality. You got to change your attitude. You got to change everything. You want to be quick with them. You want to get to the bottom line really as fast as you can, efficiently as you can. You don't want to bore them with details and outlining plans and all that, because they are basically totally opposite what the blueprint personality is. And when you're there, you want to tell them how great their home is, how well they're dressed, they got a nice car, whatever it is that they have. And whatever you do, make it entertaining and don't bore them. So the next one we have is our nurturing. So with nurturing, when we get there we go. You want to slow it down and go a lot easier with the nurturing. You want to have like a soft energy is what I like to call it. And those are the community leaders. Those are the ones that like to build relationships. And when I work with them, I would want to encourage them and introduce them to my team of people that help me, and how as a team we can create a beautiful listing for them and a great marketing plan, because they do love teamwork that way. And in their home, if they've got anything of beauty, you want to make sure that you notice that and point it out to them. So the last of the four, and certainly not the least, which should be coming up, is our knowledge people. Now, for those of you that have knowledge first here, I'm going to give you a bit of a compliment, because those are typically the smartest people in the room. Now, one reason I love working with knowledge is because I can impress them, because we have state-of-the-art technology. So it's nice for me to meet them, because when they see how we use our Codebreaker AI with empathy and all the other technology that we have, then they love that. And that turns them on, and they're excited to work with us. And you'll learn more about that in the trainings that we have. So you want to get into that if you're interested. So now that I've gone through all four codes, is it okay if I tell you a quick story of how I actually use this on an appointment? Because everybody's thinking, oh, this is great, but how do you use it? How does it work? So I went on, by a show of hands, everybody good with that? I want to make sure you're all awake and paying attention. Excellent, thank you. So as I said earlier, I'm a real estate appraiser as well as a realtor. And I got a call one day from a lady who said they needed an appraisal on their family property. And we always have to ask, what's the purpose of the appraisal? Because that determines our course of action. She said, well, my parents passed away. They left us a property down there. We need to get it valued for the estate. I said, okay, perfect. That's what I needed. And I always ask the question after that, once the estate is settled, what are your plans for the property? And they said, well, we're going to sell it because we don't live in the area. We don't go down there much. So I said, okay, I just want to let you know I'm also a realtor if you would like my services that way. So she said, well, we've already interviewed 4 agents and we're pretty well set on the agent we're going to pick. So I think we're good there. I said, okay, but could you do me a favor? When I come down, would you just take a little time and listen to my presentation and see what our company can do for you, just so you can compare another agent while I'm there? And then if it works out, great, you like us, fine. If not, I understand, I'll do the appraisal and be on my way. So they said, yeah, that's fair enough. So jump ahead, I get to the appointment, and it wasn't just her and her husband, and she was the executive of the estate. Her husband, her sister, and her sister's husband were there. So I had 4 people to deal with, not just your typical 1 or 2. So what I did was I always carry plenty of cards with me, extra sets. I simply laid out the cards for each one of them. And as you learn our script in the training, I simply asked them to sort the cards and hand them back to me. So what I did from there was, oh, and I want to tell you the difference here. This was the other issue I had to deal with. So the first sister, the executive of the estate, her code was nurturing, blueprint, then knowledge, action. Her husband was same code as me, action, nurturing, knowledge, blueprint, almost the opposite of her. This other sister, she was a knowledge, blueprint, nurture, and action. And then her husband was a nurturing, action, knowledge, blueprint. So I know that sounds confusing, but the summary of it is they're all different combinations. So I'm talking of 4 different personality types. So what I did was, as I went through my presentation, and this was I learned in our training, when I'm talking about, say, the market data and things like that, I'm going to focus on the high knowledge person because that's what they want. When I'm talking about, hey, we can get this done, it'll be very little, it won't be painful to you at all, and we'll take care of it quickly, I'm looking at the action person. And when I'm saying about this will help get the family estate settled, you can move on with your lives, I'm looking at the nurturer, et cetera, et cetera. So at the end of the night, they said, well, we're not going to make a decision tonight. We've got to talk this over. And I knew that was coming because there was so many there. And what I did was I knew I needed an edge following up. So I used our artificial intelligence, and any correspondence I have with them, emails, texts, whatever it might be, I made sure it was balanced out and weaved in and out of all the codes so that it would appeal to all 4 of them, not just one over the other. It was a good thing I did, because I found out later from one husband telling me that the other sister was kind of the thorn in everybody's side. And if I didn't treat her special, that I would definitely out the door. And as it worked out, evidently I did, because they said their summary was, you know, you seem to understand us just a little bit better than everybody else. So we've decided now that we're going to list with you instead of that other lady. So I took what was going to be in this case, a $700 appraisal assignment and turned it into a $22,000 commission for selling that property, listing and selling it. So that's just the real life example of the power of this. And it wasn't just that, but I got future referrals from them. So think, what's the value of that? I mean, that's invaluable. And I don't know what the percentages increase on that. It was something like 1,400% increase. It was a crazy number. So, and just in summary, the other thing that I found very valuable with this was I was already a top agent when I found out about B.A.N.K, and I was closing 37% of my appointments. After I started using B.A.N.K, that jumped to 86% closing ratio on my appointments in less than a year. So there's some hardcore data for you. And I think that's what I've got for now, Jeannie. So if you want to take it away, it's all yours.
Yeah, I love it, Joe. And I love all the other stories you bring to the table, you know, and when we get into the 2-day training for the Blueprint Action, Nurturing, and Knowledge, you know, the stories that we have to wrap in of people using B.A.N.K on what that looks like, sounds like, feels like, so they can understand how to use it, how to implement in your business, because that's what it's all about. It's not about, here, you get this tool. It's about, how do we teach you to use it the right way in your business? And it is so simple. It's just as simple as asking, what's your bank code? We teach you the script, and it's a real simple script. And here's the thing. Joe tells them what his code is. Jeannie tells them what her code is. Ross tells them what his code is, right? So there's no like there's no like not telling him it's secretive. It's like, hey, yeah, this is mine, this is yours, and this is how we can help us communicate better. I haven't met a person yet that doesn't want to communicate better. Whether it's to save time, better understand, so we get to the details, or just get to the bottom line. And so it's really, really a powerful tool and system. And there's so many different ways to use it and implement it that we can't go into it in an hour. Because when you go through our training, what you get is an hour of blueprint, and who are the blueprints and how to spot the blueprint. And then you're going to get tips on how to apply that to your real estate. You're going to do the same thing for the action, the nurturing, and the knowledge. That way you can spot them, you ask them, we teach you all of that. And it's really powerful. So I want you to think about that last person you got to know from. I want you to think about the last person you got to know from. And as you hear blueprint, action, nurturing, and knowledge, try to figure out what their code is. And maybe it's the opposite code of yours. And there was just a complete disconnect. There's not right or wrong. I just want you to start thinking about that, because your last no, you could actually turn around to a yes. When you get back to the person that sent you here, tell them about your no. Have that conversation with them, figure out what their code is, and they may be able to help you turn it into a yes. So in becoming a listing ninja, who would like to be a listing ninja? Anyone? Becoming a listing ninja means you got to know who those people are. You got to make that connection and that rapport, and you got to speak to what's important with them. And I understand, as a real estate agent for years, my reports spoke to all 4 codes, right? The step-by-step system, the how quickly you can get it done, how much you're going to hold their hand, and who your team is, and all the data. But I didn't always go over it. I only went over certain parts that I like to go over. It wasn't about them. I didn't know what I didn't know, right? Now I know, and now you know. It's just really important that they can connect with you right out of the gate. I mean, Joe didn't have a listing with these people. He didn't have a listing appointment. He turned it into that. I think, you know, when we did the math, we came out like with like 1,400% increase on the original. I think that's what it was. We have it written somewhere. We'll get on the 2-day training, we'll give you the exact number. So what is our technology? So let's talk a little bit about what we have. There we go. So the cracking code. So I do it on Zoom. I open my screen, I ask them to do that. You can send them a link. So when somebody books a listing appointment, you can send them a link and ask them to do it. Some will, some won't. Doesn't matter. You're going to get value cards when you join our 2-day training. You're going to get value cards as a bonus. These value cards are invaluable because you're not just going to use this in your business. You're going to end up using it with everybody in your life. You can repair relationships that you may have in your family that may not be going well or anything like that. It is such an amazing system. So, and we're going to show you how to decipher a code in nanoseconds. And then we have a vault that you can talk to the person that sent you here about the vault, which is all online training. And we're going to teach you, and these were all designed to help you close more sales in less time, ethically and with full integrity. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to stop share because I'm going to switch into live demo. How many of you, by a show of hands, like to see a live demo? Anyone? Awesome. Thank you. Now I'm going to find the other screen. I think I'm going to go back to the code crack one, which is fine. So what we have is, I'm just going to switch over to LinkedIn. We have some amazing tools. So we have what's called a Google. Anybody ever heard of Google? It was a trick question because I don't know how you get on this call without it. Even though it's Zoom, you still got to understand Google too, right? So I'm going to get on LinkedIn. Michelle's going to be ready for backup because earlier today when I did my earlier presentation, it crashed. And that's okay. That's my computer and it's all good. So what I'm showing you is that you don't have to be tech savvy to use this. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not tech savvy, fantastic. You're right up my alley. I can still teach you how to use it. I can teach you how to use it, streamline it in your business to have better results. Because I'm going to tell you exactly how you're going to stand out from your competition. You're going to stand out from your competition. Real estate is more competitive today than it's ever been in history. And if you don't know that, you better go look it up because it really is extremely competitive. When I used to go for listings, there was 3, maybe 4, and 4 was rare. That would go on every listing appointment. So, and you know, where I started doing real estate, we kind of all knew each other, and you even know each other even more in that tight-knit community that I was in. So this is a Google Chrome extension. If you can see my web browser, you see a little square next to the Z. The Z is the Zoom, little square, and it says AI, and it's blue and red and yellow and green. Yes. So the Google Chrome extension, and it attaches to my LinkedIn profile. So now I can display how I show up to the world. I can display that. I can target clients if I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to crack my LinkedIn profile. Now, somebody else may have written your LinkedIn profile, so it may not show up as you at all. And you want to make sure it shows up at you as you, or at least as the person. I don't know why on Zoom this just doesn't want to work for me. Or the person that you're looking for, right? So you can write your profile on the person that you're looking for. So if anybody has a profile that they want ran in here, I can run your profile through it. You can just put it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to run mine, but I just assume run somebody else's. Any takers, Michelle?
No takers.
All right. So you can get back to the person that sent you here. I understand that you may not want to do it in front of everyone, and I'm totally okay with that. I am not going to call anybody out to do it. So you see that that just scanned my entire profile, not just the about section, but everything in my profile. And it shows up NABK. My code's NAKB. However, I've been doing this and I'm a master trainer here, so I can go in and out of the codes very easily based on your code. So I show up as myself. However, if I'm going to meet with Ross Keating, you know that I'm going to talk about expertise, mastery, state-of-the-art technology, learning, universal truths, everything that's important to Ross. And I'm going to do it really fast because he's in action. So in this, you can run anybody's profile through there, as many as you want. And then you can click Codebreaker AI, and it's going to go ahead and give you a graph. And if it doesn't, Michelle's going to do it. Because my computer is, my Google Chrome does not want to work for me this evening. It might this time, though. Keep your fingers crossed. Come on, Mama needs a new fur coat. It's crazy talk. All right, one more time. So what happens is it gives me a graph that tells me how high is my N, how high is my A, how high is my B, how high is my K. Gives me a graph on exactly what it looks like. Exactly what it looks like. So we're going to do it one more time. And let it load up. And now I'm going to hit Codebreaker AI. And if it doesn't load, I will manually do it. It's not a problem, so I can show you the graph. Because the graph's important. As you move forward and as you dun, dun, dun,
I have it pulled up, Jeanne, if you want me to share.
I do. I want you to share mine if you've got it ready to go. Perfect. So this is why we work as a team in this community, because we definitely want to show you the live demo, and my computer just doesn't want to function tonight. Happened earlier. It's all good. Thank you, ma'am. You're so awesome. Ta-da! So as you learn and grow B.A.N.K, you're able to get your numbers higher and higher and higher. So mine's 30, 31, 30, 19, 7, 9, and 19. So my B and my K are usually very close, and my N and my A are very close. And that's after years of mastering and power scripting and how to write everything in there. On the right-hand side, you will see values. So this is going to give you the values of the nurturing personality type. And on the right-hand side, Michelle's going to click through that. So we have the sales. Those are sales tips on how to speak to a nurturer. Tell me that's not valuable. Those are behaviors. How do we behave? How do we show up? What do we not like? Triggers. Now, triggers are good here. Triggers are good. Triggers of us talking about our charitable contributions, how I work with Alzheimer's. It's all wonderful. Tripwires. Now, that's what you want to stay away from. So usually it's the last code. And we teach you when you first start implementing it, focus on the first code and stay away from the last code. And that's how you learn it. It's so simple to learn. And then the last button is actually what we call power scripting, and it helps you expand so that you can speak even more. And what we have you do is we have you print these out for B.A.N.K and have them in front of you, so it's much easier. We have broken this down for you to use in such a simple matter and implement in your business that you can have results very quickly. Very quickly. So if Michelle was going to respond to me in an email, say this was an email, and Michelle's going to respond to me in an email, it will give me a chance to respond. We'll let her type. So,
Jeanne, if I may, there's a question in there from Barbara Benton. So you can use the Codebreaker AI on other pages. Do you need to be friends with them?
no, No, I crack codes. Great question. Great question. Thank you. I crack codes of people before, ready for this, their profile, because this is cracking their profile, before I make that connection with them. So no, you can use it on anybody's profile to know who you're meeting with. That's what makes it so powerful. So Barbara, if you're going on an appointment and you can find them on LinkedIn and you can run this through and then ask them when you get there, just ask them to crack their code. And you don't say that to your clients. You say, hey, before we get started, we teach you the script. And, there's another thing I want you to think about. How much is one more listing worth to you? How much is one more listing? Because I guarantee you this training and this technology is way less of an investment. So I just want you to think about how much one listing is worth to you. All right, so decode my reply, Michelle. So Michelle talked all in Blueprint, and it says, stop, don't send this email. Stop, don't send this email. And it gives me another chance. And she changes it to nurturing, right? It gives it another chance. And you just hold the cards in front of you or the little power scripting, and it works amazing. Thank you, Michelle. And when you get it right, it tells you. So I had a woman that's using this system. She had a reload coming from the West Coast to the East Coast. Show the check mark. Yay, great job. She was moving from the West Coast to the East Coast and had clients moving there. And about 2 weeks before the closing, the guy freaked, sent her an email. The email, she had cracked his code. The email wasn't even in his code. It was all crazy. He was getting, buyer remorse or panic attacks because he's moving across country. And I don't think he ever even looked at the house. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he did it all online. $1.5 million. She sent me a response because she was one of my coaching clients, sent me a response that she was going to send to him. And I said, whoa, did you run that through the AI? Because I knew it wasn't going to jive. It was going to do this, right? It was going to attack. And I said, did you run that through the AI? And she goes, oh. So she goes and she runs it through the AI because now she's panicking, right? And just wants to send a response. So now we're responding to responding instead of relating to connect, right? So we rewrite the email. She sends it back to him. Then he calls her. And he said, oh my God, thank you for bringing me in off the ledge. I absolutely want to buy the house. I was just panicking and I just wasn't sure. And if she had sent the other email, he probably would have just said, give me my, he was going to lose his deposit because he was past that. And he probably would have been forced to close. So it would have been really ugly. But she was able to wait, run it through the AI, have a conversation with him based on where he was at, and then talk him back into his code, into why he bought the house, what he was doing, the job that he had, and everything was good. So we have tons of stories like that. Joe has some great stories that we'll talk about in the training. We also have where you can hold all of your code cracks in your back office. It is a wonderful system for any business owner, but especially for real estate, and especially for people that are going into homes to have conversations and meet with people. Good? Awesome. So here is what's going to separate you from your competition. Well, hello, Mr. and Mr. Seller or Mrs. and Mrs. Seller or Mr. and Mrs. or whoever they are. I write all of my MLS listings, all of our pretty flyers in the house in all 4 personality codes. So when we first met, I asked you to do this so we could connect. Well, I write all of our stuff in 4 codes. So it attracts the blueprints, the action, nurturing, the knowledge. Most real estate agents don't know how to do that because they don't have the software, state-of-the-art technology, the step-by-step system to help get to the bottom line. And I have a whole community that supports me. So would you like to see how I do that? Now, you're not going to say that to your clients, but you might. You might live demo this. I don't know. So I am going to show you what that looks like. As soon as I can find where I'm at here. Ha. All right. So I'm going to go to, I think I showed this one earlier. So once it lets me on, so I'm on realtor.com. I'm on realtor.com. So I'm just going to go to realtor.com because everything on realtor.com is taken from MLS all over the world. Yes? Can we all agree to that? Thank you. So I am going to go ahead and just click on property details, and I'm going to copy and paste this. And I'm going to put it in the AI that we just showed you. I'm going to put it in that AI. Where is it? It's over here. My products. See, I've got all of these products here. I am going to down here. So copy and paste. How many of you, by show of hands, can copy and paste? You can use this technology. Ta-da! Oh, they write like I do. Like one giant run-on sentence. So you run all MLS listings through. So this one is A.N.K. It's through the roof, A.N.N. It actually is better than most. Let's run another one. I randomly do this and I find maybe 1 out of 10 or might hit all 4. Most of them hit just 1 through the roof. Most of them hit just 1 through the roof. And sometimes that's because you'll have a whole office of everything's just high end. And that depends on what office it is. And we will teach you that offices and companies have their own bank code. Majority. They'll have all 4, but their company mission and vision is a bank code. Let's scroll down and see what this is. 489,000. It's tiny. Of course it is. Property details. Read more. Okay. See, I rarely do this. And why wait? I don't know. Why would I wait? So that's what separates you. This is what makes me different than my competition. Because so few real estate agents, for the amount of realtors that are out there, very few are using this. And some that do have it aren't using it appropriately because they haven't been trained. And that's the difference of working with us. So look at it, through the roof nurturing, there's no knowledge in there. Sorry, Ross, you're not buying this house. And so what if one partner is nurturing and one is knowledge, and that knowledge is saying, I don't want to look at this house. There's nothing in it for me. There's no state of the art anything. I don't want to look at it. Pretty cool, right? Give me 1 second. Thank you. I needed a sip of water. So what do you think of that technology? Can you see how this can separate you from your competition by a show of hands? Yeah, and we're going to teach you how to use it. And you're going to giggle because you're in your head, you now have what one listing this year could do. And you're going to be like, oh, I can do this. So I'm going to go back and find the PowerPoint, we think. Ha. I love it when it works, Michelle. I love it when it works. All right. So we went through the leads, the vault, the bank, and the nanoseconds with the LinkedIn profile. So any of you ever heard of Les Brown? And if you haven't and you have an opportunity to see him, it's just a super nice guy. I actually saw him in Italy, which is quite interesting. And I saw him at what we call B.A.N.K, which is one of our our conventions. We called it B.A.N.K for years. So B.A.N.K is a game changer for every entrepreneur and sales professional. This system will strengthen your confidence, expand your selling skills, and dramatically increase your income. You know, once I started getting a rhythm, I went to networking events where I used to be like, I don't like networking. I'm an N first. I don't know. It just is weird. So now when I go networking, it's so much easier because I've gone through this training and I can figure out who the Rosses and the Joes and the Leannes and the Yvettes are. I just knew who I want to approach and what reason. How can I help you? How can I support you? What do you do? That's how I roll. So B.A.N.K, personality-based, people-focused, but profit-driven. Is it okay to make a profit when you put people first? I am a firm believer. I do not get one-win situations. If I'm the only one winning, there's something wrong because that means somebody's losing. And that doesn't work for me. I only look at win, win, win. We've got to have everybody winning. Everybody should win. So Forbes.com did an article about the future of sales, and we were featured in that with our code breaker technology, all that software I just showed you, and how, yes, this helps close more sales in less time, and it is the only AI with empathy. With empathy. Well, what does that mean? This AI is used so I can connect better with Leanne. So I can connect better with Joe. So I can connect better with Ross. It is for good. You know, how many times have you been to a beauty pageant where they all say, I just want world peace, I just want everybody to get along? Well, if everybody used B.A.N.K, this is the solution. The solution is understand what's important to Leanne and speak to that. Right now, you're speaking to what's important to you because you don't know any better. But after today, you do because I have planted that seed. You're welcome. So we're going to do a 2 half-day training. I will not do a full day training right now because I need a break. I like 5 hours and 5 hours. And you have success work in between and questions and all kinds of stuff that happens. We are doing a huge service to real estate agents right now. We are doing an August 10th and 11th, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2 half-day hands-on group training with all y'all, where you can learn how to implement this whole thing. You're going to hear from a blueprint and action and nurturing and knowledge. That is their main code. You're going to hear stories and you're going to get tips on how to apply to each code when you're out there in the real estate market. I don't know why I have real estate kind of written in the middle there. It's kind of weird. We're going to set you up for success. Bonus bundle, 30 days of that Empower software. That's everything I just showed you. And priceless set of value cards and the 2 half-day training. That 2 half-day training, you can come over and over again to ours. When we do another one, you can come back and meet new people and hear new things and different perspectives. $349. Okay. You cannot tell me that you list a house and make less than $349. If this gets you one more listing, which if you do what we tell you to do, I think it will, as long as you're answering the phone, listening to the clues, and out there networking, I think you got this. So you get unlimited code cracks. So you can do it over and over and over again. We'll convert more sales. It is an all access pass to the code cracks, the artificial intelligence, and the Google Chrome extension, the AI Google Chrome extension. your all access pass to that. And again, it's setting you up for success bonus bundle. Please get back to the person that sent you here. Michelle, do you have the form? Can you put it in the chat? There is a form here. Get back to the person that sent you here because they will get you all set up. We will teach you how to use the software and you will be ready to rock and roll. We're going to put that and take it to the bank. Here's the difference. It's your bank that you're taking it to. It's your bank. So we are going to find that document and we're going to put it in the chat for you. And please get back to the person that sent you here and get your questions answered. Get your questions answered because it's a great deal to get you moving forward with what we teach. If you like what you heard tonight, you will love our 2-day training. If dates are a problem, no worries. We'll have other dates. This is our date on the books right now. So let us know. Okay, it's on her other computer. That's funny. I will find it. Give me 1 second to put it in here. Because I do have it. Da, da, da. It's a coming. It's a coming. Oh. One more time. So do we have any questions? Do we have any questions for anyone?
Do not see any questions in the chat. Nobody has their hand up.
Okay. I don't know what my computer's doing right now, but give me a second. It says it is looking for it. Nope, it does not. Oh, here we go. Look at that. I'm so excited. Give me 1 second. We'll have the form. If you need to jump off, then go ahead and jump off. If you have any questions or if you're brave and you would like us to run your LinkedIn profile, I would be happy to stay on and do that. You just got to let me know if that's what you want. Here is the document here, and you can go ahead and grab that or get back to the person that sent you here. I'm pretty sure they're going to follow up with you. You're welcome, Andrea. And they'll go ahead and walk you through what's the best fit for you. Good? Fantastic. Make it a great evening. I'm so happy that you joined us. And bye for now.